We've been waiting for you at the well, and we're so happy you're here. You know, suffering can reveal our power to us. And since love, all love begins within, so does our relationship with suffering and turning it into usable energy. And usable energy is our mana, you know, in Hawaiian it's our mana, or our chi in Chinese, or just our power, you know. And so sometimes that suffering gets stored because we didn't have the wisdom yet to be able to utilize it, and it gets stuck in the cells of our DNA, and then it's not usable and it becomes weighted, and it prevents us from truly living or elevating into our best life. And when we're living that love that sparks within, it's a catalyst for being our best self. You know, when we can accept that our life is going to have moments of suffering, and sometimes suffering is relative. You know, some people suffer over every little thing, that the weather isn't right, that the timing of the morning isn't right. You know how many times we can stop ourselves in suffering just at the beginning of one day and think of if you yourself or others that you love live in that stop and start of suffering versus satisfaction, that when big suffering comes, you're bowled over by it because you just haven't managed the little sufferings. But to really manage suffering is to understand that it's also a part of the flow if we know how to manage it. And then it doesn't block us from our own mana, our own power within. It seems like our higher purpose is always to learn how to turn our adversity into light. And if our life's purpose is to become more of a vessel of light, then it's really important when we're thinking about how do we manage love in our lives, first with our own self, how we feel about ourselves, and then how we radiate that love to the world around us. We really need to manage our suffering well, don't we? But do we? And that's the question. And do we allow that transformation of suffering to ignite our soul into action? Because if it does, then we're turning that suffering into new energy, into power, into mana or chi. Today's download is about really developing that holy energy relationship that suffering can be. It's shadowy, but it's holy. It's kind of shadow holy, I guess. But until we can accept that that was part of our path for our learning, it can feel like we're being attacked by our own spirit to go through suffering. But what we're really trying to learn to do is elicit a higher level of understanding of adversity in our lives so it doesn't keep knocking us over, creating more pain. In a way, the Holy Spirit is always breathing that breath of life. Remember, I've called it aloha. The in-breath of the Holy Spirit's inhale to really innervate our lives with the active energy of divine source creator in our body. And the ha breath, which is the exhale of that beautiful light into every cell of our being. And then it just kind of, that exhale of our life moves out from our bodies into the world around us, the people around us. When we're in suffering and we don't manage it well, the adversity becomes a halt. An in-breath maybe, but a holding of breath. And a very controlled exhale. And then the body isn't getting that life force that it needs. It's hard to build chi, which is actually love, in our bodies, if we're not understanding that every breath we take is really an ability to manage our suffering better. Every breath we take is the ability, if done intentionally, to manage our suffering better. And when we're managing our suffering well, we're managing that moment-to-moment life well, and then we're more likely to feel filled with the Holy Spirit in ourselves, in the elevated spirit, which is love within, right? Love begins within. This is maybe one of the most important downloads of our month, because how you manage your chi is how much love you're going to feel for yourself and for others. So let's just move our body a little bit as you're sitting here with me and catch your breath and sway and circle your body and flow. In my class, Body Harmonics, a lot of what we did was swaying and breathing, because it helps us to elevate our frequency. And it's a lovely way to come back into our physical bodies with presence. And that presence that you're bringing back to your body is love. It's not suffering anymore. When you're aware, it's not suffering. And so if it's not suffering, it's not stuckness in your muscles. It's not the cringe in your tummy. It's not the tightness in your chest, right? It's the openness of an open heart ready to receive all the blessings of this life that you came to experience. And so that's where we create from, because really these 21 days are about creation, about manifestation. Are we living the life that we came to create? All that we came to experience in love and light and in adversity, because we live in a polar frequency in the third dimension of Earth plane. So as we've spoken about many times before, we're always managing the polarity between the dark and the light as human beings. And so it's not going to go away. All this, these hits, this incoming energy that is overwhelming, it's not going to go away, but you are going to manage it better and better. And that is the beauty of experiencing life in a new way, when you can live in the acceptance of the flow. And some of that flow is going to bring moments of adversity, but you become the alchemist that can change the frequency of the moment from adversity into acceptance, and then transmute it into self-love, because you know that although it might be hard, that you're taking it on with an open heart. And it's really about the heart. It's always about the heart. And when you know it's always about the heart, you can really live from the heart space. And sometimes we shut our heart down, not thinking that we can deal with the adversity coming in, because we have to prepare ourselves to handle it. And that's such a lie to ourselves. We're actually not living with any capacity to navigate the suffering if we shut our hearts off. But yet, so many times we think that we got to protect our heart because that adversity is coming in. And it's not protecting the heart, it's hurting the heart to come into a closing, a shutting off of that chi and that mana. So today I just invite you to move your body in gentle ways in flowing ways around the energy that you've come to heal your life with, which is that love in action, the love within, the in-breath and the exhale of God energy in your body at all times, with the joy of receivership and knowing that you came to be a lighthouse today. And you want to live from that light. That charisma and magnetism comes from this light. So be in joy today. Open your heart and know that all adversity needs to be managed from the place that love starts within you. A decision to not shut down, but to open up and to flow and to move through all situations today and tomorrow and the future and yesterday where you've lodged it in your body. And to say yes to life and yes to breath and yes to love, because love begins within, and you're going to flow through all of it with that gentle, holy energy of connecting with the Holy Spirit first, in all ways, all the time, and let it become your practice. Starting this moment, if you haven't been able to tackle it, start this moment and listen to this again and again and again. Many blessings to your day, and see you at the well tomorrow.